I'll ask you guys right now, okay? I'm going to ask you a question right now and you answer in the comments. I want everyone to answer in the comments, okay? If Kamaru Usman fights Nate Diaz, Colby Covington, or Wonder Boy next, which one of those sells the most pay-per-views? All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. And we're going to talk about Nate Diaz. And we're going to talk about him for a couple reasons. We're going to talk about this recent back and forth that he had with Kamaru Usman, because it looks like Kamaru Usman may have offered him a title shot. Now, whether he's going to get a title shot or not, that's what I'm going to speculate about. But I'm going to talk about that entire thing, the back and forth, the likelihood that he actually gets a title shot, and why it's actually possible. And then I want to talk about, actually I'm going to lead off with this. I want to talk about Nate Diaz disclosed fighter pay for this last fight with Leon Edwards, because incredibly underwhelming as it relates to how big of a draw he is, if that was even remotely in the ballpark of what he was actually paid, okay? Because what was disclosed was $250,000, okay? $250,000 to Nate Diaz, okay? Now, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. This is the kind of thing I like talking about. I like talking about it. You like fighter breakdowns? I'll give you those. But I just, the interpersonal stuff is just more interesting to me. So, whatever, That's what I like to talk about. So if you think I'm right, comment. If you think I'm wrong, comment, like, share. I literally read all the comments. So the likelihood that I read your comment if you leave one is high. Very, very high. So I don't know if that matters to you, but whatever. So let's jump into this thing, okay? So Nate Diaz was paid, supposedly, disclosed pay, $250,000, okay? Now, for those of you who have not done this on a calculator before, you were doing this like I did, that would equate to about 4,100 or 4,200 pay-per-view buys, okay? So that's no gate, no nothing. Pay-per-view buys by themselves, $60 a pop. That's about 4,166 buys or something like that, okay? Now, does anyone think that Nate Diaz had that kind of impact on the pay-per-view, or maybe like a lot more, probably? Because I do. I think Nate Diaz had a much bigger impact on the pay-per-view than 4,200 buys, right? And so, again, the disclosed pay, everyone knows, does not represent the full comp plan for a lot of these guys, right? For some people it does, for other people it doesn't. I would imagine for Nate Diaz that it doesn't represent how much he was paid. Now, if this were 2 months ago, I could just ask Caesar. Caesar would tell me, and then I wouldn't be able to talk about it on the channel. But since I'm in Texas and I can't ask Caesar, I'm just going to speculate like everybody else. And I'm going to speculate that hopefully Nate Diaz had some back end on that fight, because he deserves it, okay? Like, he deserves it. At the end of the day, it's like this, right? If you're just a fighter and you go out and you win fights, and then you come to the UFC and you're like, I want more money. It's like, okay. Why? Why do you deserve more money? Okay? Because the answer why Nate deserves more money is because people love Nate Diaz. He's one of the most popular fighters in the UFC. He fights like that. It's not even just that he fights. I mean, honestly, going out and getting these slapdash wars doesn't matter if no one cares. But everyone really cares about whether Nate Diaz wins or not. And people buy the pay-per-views because he's there, right? And so he deserves, again, if you're just going to pay him a big flat number, then that's one thing. But if you're going to come out with $250K, I am really hoping that he's getting a piece of the back end. Even if it's $1 a pay-per-view, that's another $800,000, right? Like, he deserves it. It's not just a matter of like, fighter pay's not fair in relation to how much, revenue's generated. It's like Nate Diaz specifically earns or generates enough to where he should get a lot more dough than that. Like, it just doesn't seem fair. I don't like it. So I'm just going to assume that he's getting paid more than that, because I don't know. Otherwise, it just seems kind of gross. But as you guys know, I am not a person who's sitting here on every, I very rarely go, oh man, fighters really deserve more money, because I don't have any idea how much, I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea what they're actually getting paid. I have no idea what the cost structure is in the UFC's events. I don't have any idea about that. This is one of the only times you're going to hear me like, dude, come on. And that's because that is an objectively absurdly low number for Nate Diaz, in my opinion. Not even in my opinion, just is, right? Now, for the same reason that is an absurdly low number, we're going to talk about this other thing, which is Kamaru Usman and Nate Diaz going back and forth, okay? So let's run through this, right? So Nate Diaz said something to Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman said, I see you 209. If you really want this 187, then call your boy Hunter. And I think Nate, for some reason didn't see that Usman was like, hey, if you want it, just call Hunter. You know, he's the matchmaker. And so Diaz writes back, you're locked down. You do what you're told like a good champion. With a picture of Colby Covington getting smashed. I guess that was like Nate saying you're going to fight Colby because they're telling you to or something. I don't know. But then Usman says back, keyword, champion. All you guys are just internet tough guys nowadays. Like I said, if you really want this pressure, then holler at your boy Hunter. Okay? So that is like, I mean, if you want it, you can get it. And Nate Diaz said something like, no disrespect. Oh, you're doing great, champ. I wasn't trying to disrespect. Have a good fight with one of these poor guys you beat up. Okay, so the reason why Kamaru Usman said that is the same reason why I'm saying 250K is crazy, because Nate Diaz is an enormous draw. Okay? I'll ask you guys right now. Okay? I'm going to ask you a question right now and you answer in the comments. I want everyone to answer in the comments. Okay? If Kamaru Usman fights Nate Diaz, Colby Covington, or Wonder Boy next, which one of those sells the most pay-per-views? Okay? So Kamaru Usman is the champion. He's in the fight no matter what. So you got Nate Diaz, Colby Covington, Wonder Boy. Who sells the most pay-per-views? Huh? Because if you're saying anyone besides Nate Diaz, you're wrong. Okay? I realize Nate Diaz just lost, and I realize he lost the fight before that. And I'm telling you right now, Nate Diaz would sell the most pay-per-views. I'll tell you that right now. And I'm like, and you guys know I love Colby. And I think Colby would be, you know, he would be in second place, close second place. Not that close, though. Okay? Like Nate Diaz, especially after how that fight ended, like he would sell more. People would be like, I don't really see how he's going to win this fight. But it's Nate Diaz. You never know. And in all honesty, if everybody thinks that the way that fights get sold is solely on, wow, what a really close matchup this is. Wrong. Okay? Wrong. People buy pay-per-views because they are emotionally tied to the story or one of the fighters. It's as simple as that, dude. That's why you can have, like, sometimes you'll look at fights and like real, like hardcore fans are like, oh my God, can you believe these two guys are fighting? And it sells like 400,000 pay-per-views because we're tied to the skill and like we look at the sport differently than other people. But like in terms of, you know, there's nothing more like, you know, than like I genuinely care about this guy. Like this guy, I really like this guy for whatever reason. Because you can always talk your way into, well, he's got a shot, because everybody's got a shot. Everyone has a chance to win. There are no two professional fighters where they like neither guy has any shot, you know, and they're in the same weight class. That matchup does not exist. Okay, it doesn't exist. Okay, you might have a guy who would win 99 out of 100 times, but everyone has a shot, which is why if Nate Diaz fought Kamaru Usman, it would be the biggest selling pay-per-view. And if you're Kamaru Usman, what's your goal? Kamaru Usman's going to smash any of these guys. I mean, you know, Colby, I think gives him. I mean, he's going to have to work to beat Colby for sure. Wonder Boy's a weird matchup, but no one's going to pick Kamaru to lose to any of these guys. So what's Kamaru's, you know, like there's no one out. Like Kamaru's beat everybody. He's beat everyone. He hasn't beat Nate, you know? So like, what's his goal? His goal is to maximize pay-per-view buys. And Nate Diaz would do that, which is why $250,000 is a bullshit paycheck. Yeah, that better not be his real paycheck. That's all I'm saying. Like that would be bullshit if that's his real paycheck. The only way that they could have gotten away with that is if they did something similar like they did with Dustin, where they were like, we're going to give you $250 for this one, but if you win, we'll give you a title shot with Kamaru and we'll pay you $10 million. That's possible. It's possible they got him to take a deal like that because they knew if he beats Leon and they give him a title shot, they're going to make so much money it's going to be out of control, right? That's possible. But that would be the only way that would even be moderately fair. So if Nate, you know, kind of gambled on himself, you know, then maybe. But if that's not the case, then $250 is bullshit. Anyway, but like I've said a million times, I am partial to Nate and anybody on Cesar Gracie's team. So anyway, if you like the channel, subscribe and ring the bell. Tell your motherfucking friends, boy. Peace.